All right, go ahead.
My name is Muta Ali. I'm here raising money for the Life's Essentials television series for broadcast television. Our plan is to have 8 half-hour episodes per season, and the series is based upon our award-winning feature documentary, Life's Essentials with Ruby D. Our series embodies what happens when young adults around the country use their unique family histories in order to overcome personal challenges that they have in today's day and age. Through one of the most successful Kickstarter campaigns for African-American related documentary in the world, in fact, we were able to create Life's Essentials with Ruby D. And in this documentary, Ruby D and Ossie Davis's rich lives guide their grandson on his personal quest to overcome his challenges related to love, his challenges related to art, and related to activism. I am Ossie Davis and Ruby D's grandson, and I'm here to tell you that that was the most fulfilling experience I had in my entire life, going on that journey. As Life's Essentials with Ruby D opens up, you hear me speak directly to my grandmother in the narration as I'm looking through archival material. I say, "Hey, Grand Ruby, this is your grandson, Muta Ali. I love you, and I thank you for answering the questions I have about your and Grandpa's lives." That immediately sets a great connection between me and my grandmother. It sets an anchor in terms of time. You know that I'm talking with her about a journey that she helped me through. And it also shows the audience, it also puts the audience in a position where they're not just being told a story, they're listening in on a very important private conversation between a grandmother and her grandson.
I still believe that a marriage and a partnership like Ossie Davis and Ruby D had, that they don't have to be the anomaly. They still can be the rule. I personally want a relationship like Ossie and Ruby had, right? I don't have that. I mean, I have a ring on my finger right now, but this is for the movie, right?
Oh my goodness, my goodness, how are you? Oh, I'm so glad to see you, so glad to see you. Oh my goodness.
You ready? Do you remember this? You were about to
Where did it come from?
It's down in the archive.
Let's go down through there and see what we got down there.
You gotta be careful. That's your marriage certificate.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to ask you something personal. I had a few questions and I needed your advice. And the first question is about women. You were married for 56 years. And all that time, there's so much time for mistakes, there's so much time for weak moments, there's so many times where your marriage might not be going smoothly, and there's someone else out there that's yanking your collar. How do you stay faithful? And if I can't see myself doing that, how can I honestly get married knowing that I could eventually break the heart of the woman I love?
Well, you know what? I can't say I can do anything that would make Ossie unhappy. God knows I know he did some stuff I wasn't happy about. But I knew one thing deep down in me. I love Ossie so much, I didn't care what anybody told me he did. I wouldn't have believed it. If I believed it, I'd have to throw it out my mind. Because I made up my mind. I wasn't gonna leave him. And he already told me that I left him and get ready because he's gonna follow every step I make.
As we talked, I recalled all I had found about love in the archive. The marriage you witnessed as a baby between your father, the ladies' man, and his true love, your stepmother, Emma.
While this film tells a story of their lives, its structure allows it to capture the power that happens when one family member elevates the life of another. And it popularizes the use of ancestral information for young adults to overcome their challenges of today. And we're creating a series that will directly help young adults embrace that opportunity and connect with their family history. The market right now for ancestry-based storytelling is growing. Immediately you'll think of Skip Gates and Finding Your Roots. There are history detectives, that show's been on since 2003, and Story4, they offer the opportunity for adults to interview their friends and family on audio to preserve their stories. What you'll notice is a lot of these programs are geared toward an older audience. The hosts are usually in the range of 60 plus years old, and the guests aren't necessarily discussing issues. They're discussing, and the guests are there primarily out of curiosity. Curiosity is driving the story, and the host's desire to find information. Their conflict usually lies in an inability to find a certain amount of information. So that leaves an opportunity for us. There's an opportunity for us to create content that appeals cross-generationally. So in the Life's Essential series, the millennial is the focus. The millennial's challenge is the focus. And the senior, as sort of an organic mentor in the situation, is able to help them through family stories and through their own family history. What that does is it empowers, it uses the information, power out of the information. It's not just information gathering, it's applying that information to life right now, to issues that our young adults are facing. And it's a niche in terms of this type of storytelling because it focuses on learning about our living and breathing relatives and not necessarily the relatives who have passed a long time ago. In each episode, we feature two young adults with two different challenges, and the episodes are split right in half. And in the first half of the episode, we have the first young adult with their challenge. In the second half, we have the second young adult. And each of their stories is broken up into three pieces. First piece, we establish that open letter narration. These young adults are directly speaking with their elder during the episode and thanking their elder for the journey that they've gone through. We establish them as characters, their home as characters, and their hometown as characters. They also explicitly state the challenge that they're facing. It can be a range of things outside of love, art, and activism. And they commit, at the end of this part, to talking with that specific elder. Part two, they sit down across from that elder one-on-one and share for the first time maybe what they're facing. And that elder brings their family archive to life by telling the stories of their family principles, hard-earned lessons, and maybe other relatives who's faced these similar challenges. I had the chance in Life's Essentials with Ruby D to speak to people outside of my grandmother. I got consultation from Harry Belafonte, from Cornell West, and I'd like everyone in this episode, in this series, to be able to speak with experts outside of their family at least one time after they've had their one-on-one conversations with their elders. So in part three of each young child's story, they're able to do so. And they interview that person on their own. It's not me as a producer telling them what to ask. And at the end of each episode, the young adult walks away changed by the experience and likely closer to their elder. We found that families are more willing to share and ask very personal questions when the cameras are around. It gives them a platform, an excuse, and a reason to ask sensitive questions. This is Siad and his father, Stuart. And Siad, we didn't know until we asked him to ask his father. He was facing fatherhood fears. He was about to become a father, and he was fearful about it. So during his interview, this happened.
So you were talking about your dad proving that even if his dad around, he wanted to do. What would you say like the biggest challenge for yourself raising a son?
That's a good question. I would say not being stuck and giving up the time. Because as an entrepreneur, independent business guy, I seem like I was always so consumed with my work that I always feel like I was struggling to give the time to you and
10 minutes.
So I was really up as far as Bud had a 9 to 5. And not to minimize that, but weekends were his, evenings were his, holidays were his. I never had a day off.
But which one do you think is the most rewarding part of this?
You got it, I think you got it.
You made us noise.
I was just gonna, well, anyway, I was gonna say something about formatting it, so.
No, let him keep going.
Yeah.
So we can hear all the elements.
No.
Impact that this story has had on Life Essentials with Ruby D. As nationwide, the message has been received. Families who've seen this have agreed to share stories with their youngsters in college screenings have agreed to fly home and interview their grandmothers and so on. Press has really appreciated this story, although I was afraid to do it this way because Asi and Ruby are acclaimed in the way that they are. But we got 4 out of 5 stars in the The Hollywood Reporter just 2 weeks ago gave us a great review and said it feels like being inside of a private family conversation. And brands have gotten behind the concept, of course because of their celebrity, but they followed up and sponsored parts of our tour because of the family aspect of the program. Civic engagement has been one of the most fulfilling parts of this project. We've already begun. This is Jada and her grandmother. She's part of the Harlem Boys and Girls Club, and we helped them connect. She had questions about dating at 10 years old, which surprised her grandmother, and she could pick up on the fact that there were some rifts in her family, and she wanted to discuss it. Marketing, we're going to extend our PR strategy as we proceed. With this documentary, we're getting a lot of press appearances. We're going to cross-promote the release of Life Essentials with Ruby D with the creation of this series. We just last night had an offer for cable broadcast premiere of the film for this year. Engagement, we're going to continue building our relationship with Boys and Girls Club of America and AARP, brands like Garrett Popcorn who help us with our interactive screenings around the nation. We're going to continue our celebrity draw by inviting celebrities to have their families take part in the episodes or serve as experts for the young child to talk with in the episodes. And we're expanding our footprint to increase our website to be to house intrafamilial conversations that address a range of specific challenges that young adults are facing. Our social media, we're going to increase tremendously because that's been the greatest draw for us in terms of financing and attention. And we're going to increase add to our presence on mobile platform. We're looking for $200,000 for our pilot episode, which will take us about 4 to 5 months to create. Each episode of the actual series will include a certain amount of community engagement, which will increase the budget of each episode by $50,000. At 8 episodes, that brings us to $2 million for the entire season 1. And I leave you with this message. And I don't have time to read it.
Oh, you're in?
How many minutes is that?
14 minutes.
You gotta cut that down in half.